I'm going to say that you're in the luxury side of things. Who sets the price, the consumer or the producer? Why do we pay? I don't know, £700 for an LV t-shirt, and the same t-shirt that you might do, and somebody refuses to pay it. So I'm asking you, who sets the price? Is it us as the consumer or you as the producer? Who sets the price?
That's a tricky question there, because for me, I went into this phase in my head where I believe that this should be this price. Yeah.
Okay.
When somebody else might say, nah, I don't think that should be this price. You ain't built your brand up to that level. Okay. So and then I'm like, nah, if you don't want to buy it, then you know where to go. This is my price. You know. Then I sat down one day and I said, have I put in the work?
Yeah. Okay.
That's the most important thing, because I'm like saying I believe this is £500, but have I put in the work for it to be £500? Then I had to get back to the ground and make it affordable. Okay. And then now I'm working the price up.
Affordable to who?
Affordable to, like for example, you say to yourself, it's like, you might say, all right, cool, I think my t-shirts are £500, but then you might say to yourself, okay, let me just start at £80.
Okay.
And then work my way up to £500, because that's making people desire the brand.
Okay.
Yeah. Believe in the brand puts the price up.
Actually, let me ask you a question, Chizo. So you've had a few different lines that you brought out. So right now you've got a t-shirt you're bringing out that says "Return of the Underdogs." I think is on it. Something like Yeah. Okay. So you've set it at a certain price. So how much are you selling the t-shirt for?
£45.
£45.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, obviously, why have you priced it at £45? What have you seen, or what have you told yourself that this t-shirt is worth £45? Because that's what I'm trying to get to, this conversation of how do we determine what something is worth? Is it you saying that okay, this t-shirt has cost me £3. It's going to cost me this amount to do the printing, this amount for the packaging, this amount for the import-export tax. So this t-shirt has cost me £25. I want to. Are you looking at the cost of what it's taking you to get to the final product, or are you saying no? I'm Drip London. I'm drippy. I'm saucy. People know that I've got this or whatever. I can't be selling something for £45 because it's going to cheapen my brand. So I've got. So for instance, a t-shirt. So what's your most expensive t-shirt?
Most expensive t-shirt is like £85. £85.
So a printed one. So it's not stitched. It's like the logo's
£85.
printed. So you're selling it for £85. Let's assume now that two of you have got the same GSM quality. Let's assume it's coming from the same factory. It's at the same cost. So let's say it's cost you £12 each. You decided £85. You decided £45. Why is there a £40 disparity between it? Is it because you're targeting? Who are you targeting for your clothing? Let me ask you that first. Because you're both guys into fashion. However, you're on a different plane. And I'm not saying to undermine you.
No.
You're on a different place. So why is it that? Would you say that £45 is too much? So let's have a bit of a battle here.
No, I wouldn't.
Not to disrespect him, but he's selling £45. Are you saying that that's the right price, or saying he's overcharging?
Remember as well.
No, he's not overcharging. I've had to bring some t-shirts down to £45. So because there's certain people that are new to certain things, so £45 might be affordable for them. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same thing with me, where my pricing came was, I was a heavy spender. In Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all these other big brands, I'll spend £5 on a Givenchy t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? So my thing came in like, yo, £85. You know how much t-shirts I can buy with £85? I'm a man that spends £5 on one t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, the type of feeling, because my thing with the fashion is deeper than just putting prices. When you buy a drip t-shirt, and you go out, and the material and the feeling you get when people notice you, and then that drip tee making man feel nice. He's like, yo, she noticed me. You know what I'm saying? It's value for money.
So your target audience. So for instance, let's look at as much as he gets a lot of stick, Manny Devar, the guy Reese, he gets a lot of stick because of I think because of his personality, and he's a bit harsh, a bit coarse. With looking at his clothing line, and looking at yours, I'd say you're in two different lanes. I think would you go as far as saying that his target audience and yours are completely different? What I'm trying to get from you is who are you targeting? Are you targeting the trappers? Yeah. Are you targeting the guys who are going to uni who are just getting by and making their money? Are you targeting someone who, you know, wants to have something which is trendy but can't afford maybe the Marys and afford that, but they can afford Drip London? Who are you? Like who do you see wearing your clothes, and who do you want to wear your clothes? Two different questions. Who do you want to wear your clothes, and who would you say are wearing your clothes? Two separate questions.
It's a two separate question.
Who do you want to wear your clothes, and who would you say is wearing your clothes?
I want the people to wear my clothes that are who are into high fashion.
Okay.
So it could be like, you know, new trend, like they ain't, because certain brands, certain people don't know about. Some people jump on things early. Those are the type of people I want wearing my brand. People who discover new fashion as well. You know what I'm saying? Then at the same time, the price bracket right now can always change. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just say it's for people who can afford, because sooner or later, Drip London will be a price where it's gonna rise. Everything rises. You know what I'm saying? When the demand becomes more. So I would say it's a few of a bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? I want to say I want footballers wearing my brand. Drip's really for everyone.
So you're saying that you're trying to have your fashion in a way where any Tom, Dick and Harry or Kunle Funke and Toby can look at Drip London and say, this is for me.
Yeah.
Okay. And who would you say you're targeting with your t-shirts? Have you not thought of who your target audience is, who you want to wear it?
You know what, the main people has been subscribers of the channel, but it's more towards that like streetwear, you get what I'm saying, market. Because I remember when the Wes was like, why 45? I said, boy, the quality of tea that we use is one, higher than, you know what I mean, the normal, let's say like the normal YouTuber would use on their tea. So they might be able to sell it a lot cheaper, but they're using a £3 tea. Whereas our blanks now, if you were to buy it as individual blanks, you're already paying 25. You know what I mean? Then by the time you factor in the packaging, the labeling, all the little details, because we're not doing like the stick-on print on the inside, it piles up, innit? It all adds up. So I was like, alright, 45 is a good point. It's not making us crazy money, because unlike what people would think, they'll think, if you're charging 45, it's making you a mad amount of bread. Then it comes to when I used to go Selfridges all the time, and I might be like, I can't be bothered today to spend on crazy money, so I might buy 3 Trapstar t-shirts. They're £45 each. So I'll be like, alright, cool, I'll wear this one to Lux today, wear this one next week, wear this one.
I think why I questioned your pricing is because I've never known someone to go and buy 3 t-shirts for £150. That's mad. That to me, that's madness. Do you know? Because like,
bro, we used to buy t-shirts, one t-shirt for like two, three, four. You know what I mean? So that's when I said, right, 45, because I would literally like, Trapstar used to be my one away tops. I would wear one with like a cargo or something. By the time I wash it twice, I'm like, it's a dead top. So you give it to a girl as a sleepover shirt. You know what I mean? I take it with you.
Why would you say, I'm gonna still come back to Drip London now. Let's look at things like Gucci and Louis. They're brands that you've heavily put money into their pockets. Now my question is when it comes to luxury, so I think in the black community, for instance, we not saying that we put things in tiers, but it's almost as if Louis is like here, and I think for most of us we don't know other brands are more expensive than exist. All we kind of know is Louis. That's like the Champions League of fashion for most black people. Then I think underneath it you probably have Gucci, I would assume. Now those are probably the 2 brands when you was a lot younger that you consumed. Why? So why was you spending money on luxury items, and how would you reckon you could convince me, or how can you convince the younger you to spend £400 on a Drip London t-shirt? How do you reckon you could get to that point to convince? So imagine you being 10 years younger, being the guy in the Phantom, being the guy in the Bentley, and you've heard of a brand called Drip London. How do you think you could persuade you to spend £400 on a Drip London t-shirt? I don't know if you understand my question.
You know what, I have to just talk about what's actually really happened. So like even people I've met that don't know me from nowhere, that have actually seen the brand. I don't think that Drip can't be sold to anybody. It could be sold to anyone. People actually, even when they come, because even like some people might know I've got a Drip Mobile. So I got a transit van, and I turned it into like a miniature shop with a changing room in the back. Okay. And that really came from me selling at the back of the car, how things was actually moving. Because even when I first came with the first t-shirt, they were going for £60.
Yeah.
On the block.
Yeah.
I was actually leaking, man, and selling t-shirts for £60.
I remember.
So it wasn't like I said, it wasn't, the proof was in the work.
Yeah.
Like the material, even down to the point where when people actually saw the clothing and the material and touched everything, they was like, yeah. And then when they wore it out and it felt good and people recognized them, like as wearing something, like, you know, somebody could have been wearing Givenchy and no one didn't say nothing. Yeah. But then someone wore drip and it's like, yo, because I think drip's such a multicultural word that even a baby goes, drip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They will understand it. So it made people feel good. So that's why people came back. And bought more and bought more. And that's how it's been. Anyone who's wore drip, there's some people that's got everything I've designed. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's some people, I remember I met a guy one time in Selfridges. I was just going around shopping, whatever, and he was like, yo, I've been trying to get your number. My brethren, he said, I'm gonna name the name, Gaps, won't link it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, no, I'm here. He's gone, well, you got anything now? I said, yeah, in the boot. He said, yo, perfect, because I was just about to go to a Mary and spend on a short and top 8 bills. He spent that money with me out the back of the boot.